Hello, thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Wednesday, March 10th edition of our video devotional series. I do appreciate you joining us today. We're actually on the north side of Harkers Island today. We're down behind the Core Sound Museum, which is at the all the way to the end of the island. And I don't getting all the details here. But if you ever get a chance to visit here, or if you have been here, you know there's some wonderful trails back here. This particular one leads all the way out to the Sound. And I didn't realize this because I was going to go all the way to the end. If you look behind me there, you can see it looks like a little structure raised up that kind of says you can't go any further than this. And then literally the storm has knocked out like this wooden raised trail that went out there. And actually over this away is the end of where the storm blew it all the way up here. So it's a good distance from back there to here. But all that to say, we're just going to sit down like I did in first grade, where the teacher she'd show us flashcards and teach us things. Us kids would sit down there on that rug, and that was a big time for us. Well, so I'm reliving my first grade years here, sitting down on the dock. Uh, Hopefully I'll be able to get up off of here and be able to walk all the way back. It's a pretty good little walk back to my truck. But anyway. So our theme this week has been water. Today we're going to be in Matthew chapter 10, give you a chance to find that. Matthew 10, at the very end of that lengthy chapter, we're going to look at three verses, and the very last verse has our optimal word there, water, in it, and a very, very simple illustration today. And I think you'll get the point, and I think many of you have heard it, but it's just a good little reminder here. So Matthew 10:40 says this: He that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. Now notice verse 42. And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones, notice this, a cup of cold water, only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. Very simple truth here, yet profound at the same time, is the fact that is talking about you recognizing someone who's serving the Lord, a disciple, a righteous man, and you decide to help them. And then the very simplest way to do that is to give one of these disciples, a righteous person, a cup of cold water in the name of a disciple. And that reward is not going to go, is going to, God recognizes that. So I have a little bottle of water here, and this is a perfect illustration because just recently I was preaching at a church in High Point, and one of the men came up and he handed me a bottle of water before I was to go up to the pulpit to preach. He said, "Here, you may need this." And I usually don't drink water during a sermon. It's very, very rare. I've not done that very many times. Sometimes I may have gotten, you feel like you're going to start coughing and choking, which is one of the most embarrassing things you can do. You can't talk and everybody's looking at you. But I very rarely do that. But I had this bottle of water. In fact, this one I brought back with me because I didn't use it, but it was available to me. And that particular person gave it to me because I was a preacher and they wanted to help me. Now that particular person is going to get the type of reward that the Bible is speaking of here. Now, another way to illustrate that is when I was pastoring up in Iron Mountain, Michigan. I was out soul winning one day, and I was actually by myself this particular day, and I knew it was must have been during the summertime because it was hot out. And if you know anything about the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, there's not many days you can say it's hot. But I remember this particular day it was hot, and I was dressed like I am, just like this right here, with a shirt and tie, and I was out going door to door. And I remember it specifically because it was one street over from where we lived. We lived on East E Street, E as in elephant. And you can imagine sometimes you're trying to tell somebody your address and somebody goes, "So you live on East Elephant Street?" I said, "No, I live on East E Street as in elephant, but it's actually East E like the letter E." Sometimes it takes the most time to try to describe that. And then, when we would send mail out, you just put E dot, meaning East E. You can imagine sometimes the confusion that would bring. So I'm just saying we lived on East E. Well, I went over one street over, East F Street, and I was going up and down the street, and there was a man that had attended our church. He lived on that street, and about two doors down from him was a man out working in his yard, and this was a very hilly area, and the bank that he was working on there was very steep. He almost had it terraced. It was so steep, and he was out there working, and I recognized him because he was our local UPS delivery guy. He didn't attend our church. I don't know if he ever attended, but a very nice guy. And I just kind of said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I noticed the things he was doing there. I said, "It looks very nice." And I think he may have asked me what I was doing. I said, well, I'm out here just, talking to people. And I talked to him, and then I went on my way. And he was close to the end of the road, and I turned around and went across the road on the other side. And maybe the first or second house I had gotten finished there, and he kind of hollered at me from his yard and said, "Hey, come here a minute." And I walked over there, and he handed me not a bottle of water, but he handed me a bottle of cold Gatorade. Now I'm gonna tell you something. That was very welcome, because I was extremely hot, and again, it didn't get that hot up there. But on this particular day, it was very hot. I was sweating. I think he noticed that, and I think he gave me like one of those 32-ounce Gatorades, and I was like, "Wow, this is awesome." And he did it because he knew I was out there working for the Lord. Now again, this is a man that did not attend our church. He had been invited. I saw him often, and we spoke, and he was kind to us. But again, not somebody that knew me quite well, but he gave me a bottle of Gatorade, like a bottle of water, and basically in the name of the Lord. Now I'm saying that because water. And boy, that Gatorade, of course, was good. And this water right here, it's very refreshing. In fact, I'll probably drink this before I get to the end of this trail here and get back to where my vehicle is. But all that to say, isn't it wonderful that God notices these type of things, and that God says, someone that sees you out working for the Lord. He actually even used the expression here, uh, whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones. Now, if you know me, I'm 6'6", so I'm definitely not considered a little one. I'm not a little one by any means. Certainly by my age, by age, I'm not a little one. But you think about someone serving the Lord, and often servants of the Lord, they're not in it for the money, and thus they don't make a whole lot of money. Sometimes it's just you're surviving, you live by faith, and there's nothing wrong with that. But all that to say, these little ones, these simple ones, and yet they're out doing the work of the Lord, and you give to them just a cup of cold water in the name of a disciple, like a prophet, and God says that's going to go rewarded. That won't go unrewarded. It will be rewarded. So I just want to remind you, as you serve the Lord and you help other people, think about other people out there that serve the Lord. Maybe I don't know if someone in your church does this, but you may hear this and say, you know what, I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but I'm going to make sure the preacher has some water each time on the pulpit. Maybe someone that's their regular job, and if not, then just get a bottle of water. Or a lot of churches have a refrigerator in their fellowship hall or somewhere. If they don't, just bring it each week and make sure he has some water as he's up there preaching or teaching, or people that go out witnessing. Just say, you know what, I want to make sure everybody's got some water as you go out. You may get thirsty. Warm weather's coming up. So whatever it is, think about that God says that's not going to go unrewarded. So think about that as you think about water, and think about helping each other. And God says that's going to be rewarded. So we hope to see you tomorrow on Thursday. Have a great day.